Good afternoon again. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We'll get to the JRC in a moment. First, disclaimer. If you're unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign, you will find pertinent links in the description box. Should you like the deep dive, you're going to be able to go ahead and do so. Also, trigger warning, this channel is marked not for kids for a reason. I do use profanity, and when we speak about places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. So if you have children that are 16 or younger and they watch the channel, parental supervision very much advised, alright? Alright, so we are going back to where we were, and we have moved on to Finn, and again, it's a little long. So what we're going to be doing is kind of cutting it in pieces like we have with all the ones like this. So let's go ahead and read here. The Autistic Women and Non-Binary Network, also known as AWN, and the Autistic People of Color Fund appreciate the opportunity to submit commentary to the Interagency Autism Coordinating Committee. AWN is a national non-profit that supports autistic women, girls, trans feminine, and trans-masculine non-binary people, and trans people of all genders. The fund promotes the advancement, inclusion, and integration of autistic people of color through microgrant systems and change advocacy. Together, AWN and the fund direct policy research and community advocacy to advance healthy outcomes for disabled people, including high-quality and community-based services and supports, accessible housing and health care, integrated employment, and inclusive education. We encourage, kind of went in a little bit too much there before stopping, but we saw that from the other AWN person a little bit earlier in the comments. So let's go ahead and continue here. We encourage the committee to prioritize funding for research on disparities and inequities in service provision and outcomes that autistic people of color, queer, and transgender autistic people, autistic immigrants, and refugees face. Now, I want to bring it back to this, though I know this is kind of a copy and paste, because especially right now, I mean, there was a story about an autistic girl being used by ICE deliberately to draw the mom outside so that they could arrest her and deport her. I shit you not. Shit you not. That has been a thing. What is your recourse in that situation? You have traumatized that kid and that parent. And not only that, they're losing that parent. And there is no one stepping in. There needs to be some damn laws in regards to how these folks are being treated. Protections, something. Shouldn't be out there just traumatizing anyone, period. But the kind of crisis you can create doing that to an autistic kid whose parent might be a refugee or an immigrant. And the fact that they're doing it to people, they're literally racially profiling. Literally. Don't know what to tell you all, but it's looking real dark. It's getting darker by the day. I did tell you all that eventually what they do to us, it will reach out and hit the neurotypical world eventually. The way we are profiled, the way we are treated, the way our rights are not respected. Welcome to the club, neurotypical people. We've been warning you. And warning, and warning, and warning. Sorry, I didn't mean to take it there. I'm not blaming anyone, but for the love of God, where are the supports for those disabled kids? Where? Their parents? Nobody there after such a traumatic event that will cause a crisis situation. They're just destroying. They're creating nothing but fear. Let me go ahead and continue here. All autistic people are at higher risk of unemployment. You got quite a few like me who we're not at work to socialize. We don't go to work looking forward to lunch table where we can gossip about people like we're stuck in perennial high school. We want to do our jobs, get paid, go home. Whatever social interactions we have, we would prefer them to be on our own terms at our own time. But a lot of us will get shoved out. And they'll look for reasons. Because you don't want to be necessarily socializing with these people. I've been through it. Literally lost a job after working there a year and a half. Because we just feel like you don't fit in. Yeah. Been through it. I know damn well it exists. And then, of course, there is the fact that when you do go into job coaching, at least back in the day, they tried to pigeonhole you into fast food or working at one of their sheltered workshops. Yeah. Poor health and other adverse outcomes than their non-autistic counterparts. But racism, as well as anti-queer, anti-transgender, and anti-immigration discrimination worsen these struggles, especially right now. When research studies do not include or focus on diverse populations, this lack of information can be misinterpreted as indicating a lower prevalence of autism among these populations, which is a lie. This in turn can lead to underfunding services, programs, and research that could best support and respond to specific needs of autistic people and marginalized communities. No, for real. Lack of funding for community-based services in and of itself, it's getting by on fumes. And the federal government tends to raid in those particular areas as though it's like their own personal piggy bank. Instead of, allowing us to use those types of funding to work towards creating more centers, clinics, places for these folks to go in those types of situations. Instead of flushing money down the toilet because, cure! Sure, Jan. Let me go ahead and continue here. Studies have shown that autistic people, regardless of race, are already at higher risk for anxiety disorders, depression, suicidal behavior, bipolar disorder, obsessive-compulsive disorder, and psychotic disorders. I have autism spectrum disorder with OCD tendencies, post-traumatic stress disorder, clinical depression, and anxiety disorder. I kind of got them all. Like Pokemon. We hypothesize that systemic racism and anti-immigrant discrimination contribute to increased rates and severity of psychological distress among autistic people of color and autistic immigrants and refugees. But we need more empirical research to test this hypothesis and support appropriate funding allocations in the future. The effects of school disciplinary policies and school-to-prison pipeline on autistic students of color. Go off. Go off. Because I'm tired of seeing news reports of autistic people of color being shot in the streets by people like cops or overzealous gun-toting morons. Tell us how you really feel, Tiff. I know. Students with disabilities are disproportionately likely to be expelled or suspended from schools that use zero-tolerance disciplinary policies as are students of color. Most research focuses on students with disabilities as a whole, but autistic students of color may need tailored strategies to protect them from criminalization, suspension, and expulsion. Especially that. Just giving them an idea of the types of things that they look for. Maybe even places to avoid, which, Tiffany, are you trying to protect them? You damn right I am. Come at me. Yeah, I said it. Healthcare experiences of autistic people of color, LGBTQ plus autistic people, and autistic immigrants and refugees. These experiences can include interactions with medical professionals and other clinicians, hospitalizations, accessibility in hospitals and clinics, communication barriers, denial of care, lack of parity in insurance coverage, affordability of healthcare services, among others. The list is never ending. Racial disparities negatively affecting Black, Native, Indigenous, Latin, and Asian communities in healthcare service provision and health outcomes are well documented, especially among those who don't speak English. I've seen a huge amount of that. And I've seen resentment even within the service system before. I won't give you more details, but yeah, I've seen it. Additionally, as committee may already know, researchers from the University of Cambridge published findings only last year that autistic people were more likely to identify as asexual, bisexual, and other LGBTQ identities. One of those things like, but you're not really that. It's just the autism that makes you think that. No, it is. Generally, our minds are extremely analytical. We're logical beings. We analyze every decision we make within an inch of its life until it's screaming bloody murder. Every decision. Every decision we make. Okay? So if we identify within the LGBTQ plus community, it's because we have already analyzed ourselves with such constant scrutiny that we know by the time we're stepping out and identifying with that group that we have gone through every single possibility. Okay? Including ones neurotypicals have never thought of before. I guarantee you that. We know that 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 we know. No. Before we come out with that. So just stop. Stop with the whole, maybe it's just the autism that makes you think. My autism doesn't make me think shit. Okay? It gives me a unique perspective on the world, yes, but it's not like it's whispering suggestions into my ear. Okay? It's ridiculous. Health disparities negatively affecting LGBTQ people are also well documented. For that reason, funding research on development and use of guidelines and standards. For example, cultural competency and communication access for providing healthcare to autistic people would be beneficial. Alright. We've got a little bit more to go on that, obviously. So we're going to go ahead and break it off in half gear. And we're going to go ahead and close out. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few we do get do tend to get removed from time to time. So if you folks would be so kind, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, Don't forget to hit the comments and make sure that you are still set up to receive notifications. We don't want you missing any new episodes of Down the Rabbit Hole or the Snake Oil Salesman series. I do appreciate your time, and as always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye now.